was cracking, everybody. So, um, I don't know if it was a couple weeks ago, a month or two ago, whatever it was. Um, Somebody wanted to hear um, what I was thinking um, when I got convicted for my murder. And I feel like I told the story before, but uh, maybe I didn't. Then again, it could have been one of the videos I deleted because I've deleted like 60 videos, since I've had my channel. But um, so I figured today we would have a flashback to that time. Um, I was a completely different person back then. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about you. I didn't care about anything. Um, you got to remember, I had started jailing it when I was 13. Every time I went to jail, when I got out, I knew I was going right back. And so when I paroled from YA in January of 1993, um, I was mentally, I was a monster, and that's why I've said it before. YA created monsters. Um, I got out of YA just knowing, you know, ain't nobody as bad as me, and willing to prove it, you know, constantly, you know, had that YA mentality, that YA attitude, that chip on my shoulder, and nobody could tell me nothing. Nobody could tell me any different, right? And that's why I was only out 5 months. And that's why I didn't hesitate um, to take that man's life that night that that didn't need to be taken. But when you're in that mindset, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter when, where, whatever. So the crime occurred. Um, I got out of there, uh, went home, and I'm ashamed to say that I went home and got in bed and went to sleep. Didn't lose any sleep over what I had done. Didn't think about it. You know, got up in the morning, went to work. You know, but the second day is when I felt it. Four of my crimies had gotten busted fleeing the scene. Right, four guys let one cop catch them, and not surprisingly, all four of them started talking. It was when they first got fingerprinted. A couple of them tried to put up a little fake ass fight. Like I don't have nothing to say, this and that. And then once the my victim died, they pulled him back out to fingerprint him again. I read all the paperwork, right? And once they pulled him out to fingerprint him again, they were like, "Hey, you already did this." And the cops told him, "No, no, no. We fingerprinted you for attempted murder. But he's dead now, so now we're fingerprinting you for murder." And they were like, "Hold up. Let's talk about it." So, it came out in the newspaper the second day I was out that they were looking for an individual. Now, the Hudas had been tearing up everything in my neighborhood. They were doing gang sweeps. Anybody on probation or parole, they were rushing their pads. I was on parole and I hadn't gotten hit yet, right? But word was getting to me quick that who they were looking for, right? And it wasn't me yet. And I just had a feeling, right? Didn't know, didn't expect what happened to happen. But the one dude that the cops were looking for, that the four dudes had said it was him, that individual turned himself in and gave me up. Not only him, but some of his family members that weren't even there. You know, they gave me up, and So later that day, which was the second day after the incident, a task force surrounded the pad. They got me, and I can honestly say that you know that day I knew in my heart that I was done with the world. This world that they were gonna be coming, and that it was what it was. It was what I had signed up for. That's the mentality I had. And so when they put the cuffs on me, I knew, okay, boom, it's done. This out here is done. I'm moving on, right? And when I went to court, every time I went to court, I looked at it as just part of the process. Like we're wasting time. You know, it's Santa Barbara. I'll never get a fair trial. So let's just get this thing going. And I remember, so initially I had been indicted. The grand jury indicted me for special circumstances of lying in wait. So I was looking at the death penalty or life without, right? And so about 9 months into that, my attorney and my crimies attorneys filed a 995 motion to get a lot of the stuff stricken. So for me, my attorney fought to get the special circumstances thrown out, right? So that day, that morning in the hearing, my attorney comes up to me and he's all excited, right? And he's like, "Hey, I got good news." And I'm like, "Sure, what's that?" And he said, "Oh, I just talked to the DA and they said that if we lose this motion today, they're not gonna seek the death penalty on you. They're gonna, they're just gonna ask for life without if you get convicted." And I was like, looked at him, I said, "What?" And he said it again, right? He says, "Check this out. You tell the DA that if we lose, what the hell's on my shirt?" Anyways, I told him, "Man, you go back and you tell the DA that if we lose this motion, I want the death penalty. Fuck life without." I was 19, and my attorney was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I said, "Man, I'm 19 years old. You think I want to live fucking 50 years in prison? Grow old and you know what I mean? Fuck that." I didn't know yet that they don't execute people, right? But anyways, that's just a glimpse into my mind state at the time. During the trial, and my victim's family, they were correct. His widow read a letter. Well, had somebody read the letter. She didn't show up to my sentencing, but she said that I was disrespectful. Unfortunately, I was. I didn't take any of it serious because to me it was just a waste of time. It was part of the life that I had chose from a very young age, and I thought I believed I was one of that small percentage of people that expected to get life. Expected to die in prison, and my mind was okay with that. And that's a sad thing to realize that there are human beings like that. You know that what like I mean I don't want to go into my whole um, childhood and what beliefs I formed that made it okay for me to um, think that type of way and treat people the way that I did. But um, I remember when, so the day of my, this is bothering me. Hopefully, it ain't bothering you. But I remember the day of my, when the jury came back with their verdict. I was escorted into the courtroom, and my attorney told me, he said, "Man, I've been an attorney for 22 years, two in LA, 20 in Santa Barbara." And he said, "I've never seen this many cops in a courtroom." And what it was is I had been a real, I was a troublemaker, and the cops really hated my guts and they all wanted to see me go down. And so, anyways, um, the judge got the envelope with the verdict, and he was on the, his bench, and then he called my attorney and the DA and he said, "Let's go over this first, and then we'll have the jury announce it and read it out loud," right? and my mom was in the back behind me on the very front row, and I heard them. I could hear everything they were saying, and they said he was found not guilty of first degree murder, and the DA was pissed, right? And not guilty of first degree attempted murder, and he's saying shit. And then he said he is guilty. He was found guilty of second degree murder. And I remember when I heard that, I kind of like laughed, and I turned around and I looked at my mom, and I told her second degree, I'm guilty. And I know my mom heard me, but she didn't want to hear me, you know. Um, and I repeated it again, and she was like, I can't hear you. And I said second degree, and she heard me every time I said it. And I think it was breaking her heart more every time I said it, you know. Um, but I remember when they read the verdict, the newspaper, they took a picture of me when it happened, and they said second degree murder. I turned around to my mom and I did like a, oh wow. And the newspaper got that, and they put it in the newspaper the following morning. Wow, I was like, and so there's your answer. And it's a shame. I'm ashamed of the fact that I was so nonchalant about everything, that my victims' family had to look at me every day and see me be disrespectful, see me not give a fuck. Uh, there were times where they talked shit to me, and I talked shit back, and I was disrespectful. You know, I laughed at their hurt, I laughed at their pain that I caused. And I'm glad that I'm not that person, you know. And I'll tell you this, I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again right now. Any of you that know anybody that had life and got out, because there's been thousands and thousands of us that have gotten out over the last 10 years. If you ask any one of them if they deserve to be out, they're going to tell you no, we don't. For the things that we did that led us to prison, our minds were made up that we deserved it, and we did, you know. Um, I'm blessed every day to work, to be able to complain about working, to be able to talk to my daughter when I want, to be able to kiss my beautiful woman when I want. And my victim doesn't get to see his son, see his wife, see his sisters, his brother, his mother, you know. There's that thing, you know, they have people say survivor's guilt. And I think a lot of lifers, we have that. When we come to a point where we realize it wasn't the judge, it wasn't the jury, it wasn't the hoorah, it's never been anyone else other than ourselves that were the fucking problem. Um, it's a hard pill to swallow. And you know, when I first made my YouTube channel, I made it for that reason, because I wanted to give back. You know, I didn't want my impact on the world to be that I was a killer or I was a gangster or something like that, you know. That is irrelevant in the grand scheme of life. And so I make these videos, and that's why I tell you guys, you know, I don't like to tell war stories. If I tell something, I feel like it has to have a fucking meaning, you know. It has to provoke a thought. I hope it provokes a positive thing within your heart and mind, you know. I can't do it every time, but that's always my intention. So there you go. Um, there's my answer. Um, it's ugly, but it's the truth. So hopefully you guys like this one, and I'll holler at you, right? Don't forget, never forget to tell the ones you love that you love them. All right, I'm out.